Hi, thank you for taking time to watch this video today. I'm Anita Redding, Managing Editor of the Stigler News-Sentinel, and we have invited Sheriff Tim Turner to stop by today and provide some information about recent events and also a recap of 2017. Thank you for joining us today, Tim. We appreciate it.
Well, appreciate it, Anita. It's always nice to stop by the News Sentinel and visit with you guys.
Tim, first of all, if I said that the Sheriff's Office was busy in 2017, that would be an understatement. I understand based on some of the information that I've received, it's just been it was a very busy year. Can you provide some information about it?
Yeah, you know, Anita, it was a successful year, but I can't talk about how much of success it's been without thanking the local law enforcement that we have to work with the Sheriff's Office. All the local law enforcement, from the state troopers to the municipalities, has been great to work with. But in 2017, we booked in 889 inmates, which was an increase of 204 inmates from 2016. We took 556 reports, and now taking a report is either going out and taking a service call or an arrest that was made by a deputy, which generated 882 charges, which was an increase of 237 reports from 2016.
Wow.
The Sheriff's Office also was able to serve 565 warrants. Now that could be felony warrants or misdemeanor warrants. And when I say the Sheriff's Office, we serve and recall every warrant, depending on if it was a trooper, a municipality officer, or a county deputy that arrests somebody. But 565 warrants were served. That's an increase of 189 warrants from 2016. But the biggest thing that we're proud of is we seized nearly 2 pounds of methamphetamine off the streets of Haskell County, over 1,000 pharmaceuticals, which are prescription medication, several pounds of marijuana, several marijuana plants, seized over 100 guns that were taken from either people utilizing those guns to protect their drugs or convicted felons with guns. And we recovered, the biggest thing that we're most proud of is we recovered over $100,000 worth of stolen property. Most of that stolen property was property that was stolen from out here in Haskell County. So, you know, that's been a great success, along with recovering about 65 or solving about 65% of our burglaries. But you know, those numbers can't go without the continued efforts in law enforcement between all agencies involved here in Haskell County. So we've been very successful. You know, the biggest thing, it wasn't the biggest item we recovered, but it was the neatest this year, was the smoker that was stolen 7-8 years ago from the bank. And we recovered it. It was gone. Somebody posted on Facebook for sale, and just so happened we seen it and we was able to recover it. So
Right.
We're recovering stolen property that's been gone 7, 8, 9, 10 years. And it's been very neat. And again, I thank our guys for working hard, and I thank the local law enforcement for supporting us and working beside us in this endeavor.
I understand, in addition to these issues, you also have taken a little bit of time to recognize a couple of individuals. I think you have an Officer of the Year and an Employee of the Year. Can you tell us about that?
We did. We took a Haskell County Sheriff's Department Employee of the Year, and it was the Haskell County Criminal Justice Center and the Sheriff's Office. It was voted on by the peers, everybody that works for the Haskell County Sheriff's Office. And this year's Employee of the Year was Katrina Christie, who's our jail administrator. Katrina's been with the Sheriff's Office or the jail for many years. She's a great asset to the jail. She runs the day-to-day operations of the jail, and we couldn't do it without her. Just like we couldn't do it without any of our other employees as well. But she was voted on by her peers as, you know, Employee of the Year, and she was awarded a plaque at our Christmas dinner. And this year's Officer of the Year went to John Vale. John Vale is a Stigler police officer. What we did there is we listed every officer in Haskell County. We didn't feel that it was fair to just say one deputy or one police officer. We listed every officer that works in Haskell County, and we let that be voted on by their peers as well. And Officer Vale has stepped up since we don't have an active drug task force in the community. Officer Vale has took that role, and he works. Myself and him work diligently together along with other guys, but he's learned. He's starting producing search warrants. He has actually stepped up this year, and he has seized approximately 1 pound of methamphetamine through his investigations. He's put hundreds of people in jail this year for drug violations. Even with state question 780 and 781, it hasn't deterred him. He's kept on pushing forward, and John is just one exceptional police officer. He also teaches DARE to the local schools, but he's an exceptional police officer that works part-time for the sheriff's office and full-time for the city of Stigler. And Haskell County is very lucky to have somebody like him.
I understand there was also an academy this year, Reserve Deputy Academy, and I was fortunate enough to recently attend the graduation ceremonies. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, we started Reserve Academy in August of this year, August of 17. It graduated in January or December, and those guys have hit the streets. Some are more advanced because they had a little more experience than others. Others are still learning, but they're going to be a great asset to our community. They're going to be at ball games. They're going to be parades. They're going to come out and work shifts when they can. And we don't like to call them reserve deputies. They're deputies. The thing that makes them reserves is they have full-time jobs other than the Haskell County Sheriff's Department. So they're deputies just like we are. Yeah, they are just reserve certified, but that reserve certification is what a lot of full-time guys had to go to before CLEAT changed the standards. They have to have continuing education every year. They have to qualify with firearms every year. So our reserve deputies are going to continue the same training that our full-time deputies get. It's a little less than what the full-time deputy has to go to, but as of right now, we've got one reserve deputy who's made 3 or 4 drug arrests since the academy's been over, and he's on fire, and we like to see that. These guys are able to come out and work whenever there's a full-time guy out right now, and we'll continue to get them trained, and hopefully eventually they'll decide they want to come full-time, and we'll have a spot somewhere down the line for them.
All right. And how many reserve deputies do we have?
The reserve deputy numbers is hard right now because all of our municipalities are reserved. We give them reserve certification. We actually, the sheriff's office has 8 or 9 reserves that are just solely reserved for the county. Mm-hmm. But we have cross-deputized everyone, which gives them reserve certification. Okay. Because the sheriff's office is so small, we are financially struggling. So it's nice to have the extra manpower between the city of Stigler, Keota, McCurtain. So those guys are reserved and cross-deputized with us. So when you put the numbers together, there's over 20 or 25 reserves. But the sheriff's office has 7 or 8 that are solely just for the sheriff's office.
Right. I understand 2017, you kind of wrapped up the year or ended the year with a fairly large roundup. Can you tell me a little bit about that? Yeah,
in June of 17, we started purchasing pharmaceuticals from several individuals throughout the county, also methamphetamine. And that investigation was done by Sheriff's Office, Stigler Police Department, and District 18 Drug and Violent Crimes Task Force. And the result of that, I think we had 8 or 9 defendants on delivery charges. Then we also had some other charges of investigations that we'd worked, stolen property cases, theft cases, things like that we added into that roundup. But on, I believe it was December 23rd is when we did it. On December 23rd, we arrested 15 individuals. Some were part of Operation Local Dealer, and some were, just warrants that had come through that we actually located that person. On that day, we made 5 or 6 new cases that were drug cases. 1 possession with intent case, so it shows that individual was still distributing. Plus, we arrested his girlfriend at the same time. So it was a very eventful morning. That roundup consisted of the Highway Patrol, the Choctaw Nation, Keota Police Department, Sheriff's Office. But again, we did it at the end of the year, and we're going to continue to do it. We're going to continue to be hard chargers and try to let these folks know that if they're distributing in Haskell County, we have 0 tolerance for it.
And I understand also that while 2017 was very busy, 2018 is starting off busy for the department. And just a couple of days ago, you were involved in a high-speed chase through multiple counties. Is that correct?
That is correct. 2018's kicked off with a bang. We're seizing drugs. We're arresting bad guys. And I mean, just like the other morning, about 3:15, 3:20 in the morning, LaFleur County spotted a stolen truck over in the Poto area. Pursuit went down Highway 9, came into our county. almost striking Deputy Johnson at at the one-lane bridge east of Stigler on Highway 90 between Stigler and Keota. I was able to pick the pursuit up in Whitefield. When the pursuit was coming, the individual came into my lane at over 100 mile an hour, about 115 mile an hour, forcing me off the road. We continued the pursuit to Eufaula, where the individual was lost. And then about 6:30 that morning, 7 o'clock, they was able to locate him again, and the pursuit started again, going through Eufaula, Shakota, Warner, Porham, all the way to Whitefield and Kenna, before the pursuit was terminated by the Oklahoma Highway Patrol in the Kenna area. Individual was a 17-year-old male, stolen truck, no license. It's not a, we've been asked a lot of times on, why would you chase him? Why would you do this? Why would you do that? Well, one, he's in a stolen truck. Two, he's already tried to strike 2 police officers with his vehicle. And 3, we don't know who the bad guy is. We don't know if he's just kidnapped somebody. We don't know if he's robbed somebody. We don't know if he's killed somebody. So, in that instance, it was worthy of a chase. If it was somebody you was stopping for a tail light being out, or a simple traffic violation, then no, we wouldn't chase him like this guy was chased. But this guy was out to hurt. This guy was out to hurt somebody, and just so happens he didn't hurt anybody, and everybody went home safe, and citizens weren't harmed. But again, it's a simple fact of we didn't know who he was. If we'd have known who he was, then things might have been different. But you have a stolen truck, and fleeing the way he was fleeing, we felt there was more to it than just a stolen truck.
Well, fortunately, it ended safely, and he's being booked, I would guess, on multiple charges.
He's going to be charged in McIntosh County and in LaFleur County. Due to the fact that Haskell County never generated the pursuit, we just always assisted in the pursuit. All his charges will be in the other counties where pursuits were generated from.
And once again, we're pleased that it did end safely, that there were no injuries as a result of this.
We're pleased that no citizens were injured in this, yes.
Right. Tim, do you have anything else that you wanted to talk about today? Any other information?
I think basically we're just happy with the fact that Haskell County citizens are continuing to support Haskell County law enforcement. In today's times, you don't see the blue being backed, and we're very fortunate in Haskell County to have that backing. And not just sheriff's office, but all law enforcement. I talk about that topic heavily because we are a small department and we're a rural area. But we're very fortunate to have the support of the public that we have, the support of the News Sentinel, and we continue to appreciate that support. And anything we can do for the public or the News Sentinel, we'll be here to do it.
Well, we appreciate that, and thanks again for taking some time today to visit with us. And thank you for watching this video.